Hello and what is up everyone, it's Brutal Chaos. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out another video, the Adeptus Custodes, the Golden Boy, freaking by Adeptus Ridiculus, guys. So we're going to check this out. I have not seen it. It is pretty long, it's like 54 minutes, so we're going to break it into parts, probably 20 minutes a piece. I'll probably do it into two parts as well. Like I said, we still gotta finish another video as well here soon, so I plan to do that, do part two of it, because some of these videos are really long, man, and I just don't have the time like I wish I would to do two parts. So guys, thank you so much, because we got into the YouTube partner program, and it's all thanks to you guys. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for you. So guys, also on the last video of the freaking Emperor Texas speech, I went back through it and like I seen like the editing start cutting off half my face, and I was like, oh my god, couldn't believe I did that. Kind of laughed at it. I was frustrated at first. I was like, really, I did that? But I was really tired, so I'm glad y'all found it funny. Like I said, I'll try to go through the video, make sure that don't happen again. Like I said, that's what happens sometimes. You do something when you're really tired. So guys, I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna pull over this other screen. Like I said, thank you once again. Always support the original content. Let's go. Let's check this out. What he has to say about the Adeptus Custodes.
Welcome everyone to the Adeptus Ridiculus podcast. I'm one of your hosts, DK Diamantes. I'm being joined by Bricky, and I don't want to waste too much time on the intro because I have been
profanity excluded by the grace of the Emperor
like crazy today, so we're
Yeah, you can't cuss on YouTube.
pretty much going to get right into it after I give a shout out to the patrons over at patreon.com/adeptusridiculous. You guys have been immensely generous. If you enjoyed today's episode of the podcast, you can go over there, support us. There are tons of bonus features. You get Discord access. The Discord is always bumping. There's always people chatting about their favorite Space Marines, about their favorite Chaos factions, about what they're doing at the tabletop, and just, it's a great time. You get access to blooper reels, which I'm sure there'll be a few from this episode, and you also get access to HD posters from time to time, which are super dope. So definitely, if you enjoyed today's podcast, go there, check it out, give us a hand. We'd appreciate it. This podcast is possible because of viewers like you. Anyway, so today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Custodes, Bricky, right?
I think it's Custodes.
Custodes? Okay, I've always said Custodes when I saw it.
Custodes,
like,
oh my god, bro. I always call them Custodes. So I'm glad at least I always pronounce it right, so I can get made fun of in that regard at least.
Funny, right?
It is funny. It's Custodes, which I
can see why you're saying it that way.
Custodes. But I think with the weird way that GW does their naming sequences, it sounds more like, because they have like the Adeptus, it's like Astartes, right, which are Space Marines. And that's Astartes, I think. Astartes. Yeah, Astartes, yeah. TES. And this is Custodes. Nuts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. All I know about the Custodes.
Custodes. Oh my god, dude. At this point, you might as well just be like the text-to-speech and call them bananas, bro, if you're gonna call them. I think banana sounds better than Custodes.
Nuts. What the fuck do you want to call them? The Custodes nuts.
Did you not hear me the first time I said that?
I didn't. I didn't hear it. It didn't come through on my end. I didn't hear it. Otherwise, I would have laughed and been like, that should be the t-shirt episode. The t-shirt idea for this episode.
Custodes nuts.
Custodes nuts. Yeah, dude.
God damn it.
Dude, that's an excellent shirt idea, though, man. They should cap on that or whatever, man. I would totally buy a shirt, man. Make that, like, be like Custodes. You know, it'd be funny. Like, but make it the DEEZ, and then put like a picture of a custodian, and then somehow make it funny somehow. Like have him holding a big freaking have a lance, like a big peanut or something. It'd be funny.
Yes, dude, we came up with Doge Van Dyer.
That's classy. Thank you very much. How dare you? You know, actually, speaking of classy, I wanted to, when you were mentioning at the Patreon.
No cap, freaking love Bricky, man. Awesome YouTuber.
I was thinking to myself, man, all of those are like Discord Nitro people are so stoked when they come into our server because what's the most recent emote we just added? Morka S.
That's right. We did add Morka S.
We got Morka S. We've got Tyranid Pog and Admech Pog. We've got Smad Tau waving Commissar, and of course, you know, Smug Sister of Battle, which is just king shit right there.
Yeah, in addition
look at her
to all
smiling.
of the great stuff, we have some top tier emotes.
It's been popping up in my server a little bit. The Smug Sister. It's quite useful. It's very pliable. I like it.
I was curious.
Custodes, I think.
Since
We gotta get a Custodes.
That's what she looks like.
Yeah. Custodes.
Custodes.
I was wondering, since we got Gorka S, when are we gonna get like Morka S? Because you could do
it should
the
be
whole...
it should be the exact same emote, just like horizontally flipped and in a different color.
Yeah, and like orange.
Yeah, perfect. Gorka S and Morka S.
Dude, these guys are funny, man. Big shout out to freaking Custodian, my buddy, for recommending this video. Like I said, pretty funny, man. Bricky has a nice sense of humor, and so does this guy. So, man, it's cool to see. Because some of the, like, even though Oculus, he's more serious, and I love his content. Like, everybody has their own thing, man. But I love when somebody has, like, a good sense of humor, too. It's pretty funny.
You could do the whole Pepe emote line just with Mork.
With the orc.
That's pretty good. We could have, like, Mork be Pepe and Gork be Peepo.
Ship it.
Oh, no.
You heard it, Shy. Find an artist, ship it, make it happen. Anyway, before we diverge too far, all I know about the Custodes nuts is that they're a lot of gold. They were like really gold armor, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I think we've discussed the Custodians multiple times in
But they're more than just that, man. They're freaking OP.
Past, but we've never like done a full in delved episode on them. I'm actually really excited for this one in particular because I actually own a full Custodes army. It's one of my few armies that I have. I say few armies. It's one of my armies. They're barely classified as an army. Like a full Custodian army is like 20 something models.
That's not much.
Because these guys are such absolute chads. But I'm actually quite a fan of the Custodes. They're I say everything is my favorite.
Do you hear the freaking train, bro? Nah, it's not coming into this. Man, that's a loud train, man. Yeah, they're like the Chads of Warhammer, man. It wouldn't be fair to have like a ton of them on the tabletop. I mean, what they got, like where I'm fighting my buddy right now, which we gotta finish our fight on the tabletop. I'm using Dark Angels and he's using Custodes. He's probably still gonna slap me, but man, if you had too many of them, like, it'd be even worse. Like they're already freaking Chads, like you said.
But they're up there on factions.
They're top tier,
I'm not gonna
baby.
say favorite, but I like them. I like them quite a bit.
They're
cool
awesome.
Shit in Warhammer. Like you can
There
have
is.
really
Is.
favorites.
And Custodians, especially now, are actually, it's a really good time to talk about them. Like right now, great time because they're being put in the forefront of 40K again. For a while, they were just kind of like that thing in the background, but now they're actually getting quite a lot of new content, and more primarily, they
deserve to.
How you say, like, they have a lot to do. Now because they haven't retroactive, they haven't retconned anything. GW like they love to do, but with that, oh my god, Shy's already made Gorka S.
Gorka S exists as we're recording this. Gorka S now exists, and it is literally the
eyeballs.
orange.
What the heck?
Oh, it's great.
Okay, I don't want to stray too far because I'm sure if you're watching this on YouTube, she'll put it in like the little box. But damn it. Anyway, so anyway, the Custodians, if we go way back in the day, right? Remember way back in the, like right after the world turned into a Mad Max hellhole, the Emperor was like making his early Astartes and stuff. Well, at the time, he made the Custodes, which were at the time were known as the Legio Custodes. Right now they're Adeptus Custodes, but like Astartes are chapters, right? Like the Space Marines are chapters. Back in the day, they were legions. So it's kind of like Legio Custodes, Legion Custodes, Adeptus Custodes.
Oh, okay.
I know someone probably has like actually me where it's like they were called the legions back then, Bricky. But it's like me referring to the fucking JoJo parts as seasons. Like, tough, dude. I don't give a shit. Season.
Dude.
I don't care. Absolute anime homunculus. You know, there's actually a unit in 40K called the homunculi, the homunculus.
Oh, I bet that's an absolute nightmare.
It's a Drukhari, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, we'll talk about that later. But Anyway, the good old Gorka S. But anyway, the custodians were like, it's one of those things where like how they come about is very, very hush hush and no one really knows. Basically, Emperor was making all of his like Thunder Warriors and stuff before he made those Thunder Warriors. He was very much doing like, hey, I'm gonna make a super Thunder Warriors and make my super guys. So the actual custodians he had as his naturally personal bodyguard, hence the term custodian, right?
Yeah.
And these guys, like these guys are extremely difficult to make. I remember hearing a bit because not all of the custodians' lore is fleshed out because for a while,
that's why there's only like 10,000 of them.
While they were just kind of in the background, and they're getting a lot of new lore right now, which is why I like talking about them. But I always thought they were like genetically like created like in a tube. They were like test tube babies and shit, like they were like grown in a vat or something.
You would think they would.
I don't think that's entirely the case because the wiki gave me contradictory ideas where instead they were created similarly to Space Marines, where they take a regular person and they just like form them, you know. But just
like they started at an earlier age.
Significantly more difficult way to do it. Like really, really hard to create them with the sheer.
Yeah, I think like they create them at like an even earlier age or something I read like that, I believe, and like I said, it's even more difficult. Like so,
sheer amount of fuckery you gotta do to both their brain and their body.
So you said a custodian is like a super Thunder Warrior,
dude?
Well, not quite. Like back in the day, I was referring to that in the sense like he was making his Thunder Warriors, but he was making like his other secret group, which is just way better than them.
Okay. Because in my head, I was like, if he felt the need to kill all the Thunder Warriors because, oh boy, they could become a problem, I was like, ooh. If you made a super version of that, isn't that like a bigger problem?
That would be the case, but no, they were like his contingency plan. They were like his really fancy ones. It's like,
right? I mean, they freaking are so OP that they have blood games in the palace, man, just for sport. I mean, these dudes keep their freaking skills up to notch, and if they don't, I read that they go like, I don't know if they like quit. I know they leave the palace and they like roam or something. I read something like that. I could be wrong. So, but I know that like they always like do the blood games to keep their skills up.
Okay. It's like if you plan on running a coup, you tend to have the people you really trust close by and you don't kill them.
Yes.
So,
fair enough.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. But basically, the custodians, like, you know that height chart everyone memes about where it's like, here's a normal human, here's the Space Marine, here's a Primaris Space Marine. The custodians are like one below the Primarch. They're like the super. It's GW is annoying sometimes, but they're like, okay, we've made Space Marines, but then we've made the Primaris Super Space Marines, and then we made Grey Knights, which were super Psyker Space Marines, and custodians are super Space Marines.
Look at Vulcan,
that's basically what they are. Custodians are like just under Primarch size. They're actually fucking enormous.
And look at the Emperor of Mankind, Jesus,
if they're
big boy,
even remotely on the same scale as a Primarch, that's a big boy.
Yeah, well, not quite. They're still like a foot or so.
But that's a large individual.
It is
that's
huge.
A big boy.
And in fact, due to the fact that they were so hard to make, their numbers never exceeded 10,000. Which in the Warhammer world is actually absolutely jack nothing.
I was gonna say, that's minuscule in Warhammer.
For once, GW had an ounce of subtlety, and they were like, custodians will never ever exceed 10,000, just simply due to the sheer like difficulty in creating them.
If there was more, oh my god.
Now, these like custodians, they are about as honed as a weapon as you possibly can. Like their mental prowess is ridiculous. Like they're not just physically strong, right? Where
they'll never fall to chaos, put it that way.
They can react in nanoseconds. Like these guys are nigh immortal. Like custodians are basically immortal. They are immortal to an extent. Like they will not die from a natural causes, or at least it'll take like hundreds of thousands of years. I don't think there's been a record of a single custodian that has ever died from old age.
No,
ever.
Okay.
They're basically immortal.
Like I said, they killed 100,000 orcs. Like the Emperor come in, the freaking brought his boys, brought the Golden Boys in, the Custodes. I'm just kidding. Custodes nuts brought them in, freaking slapped 100,000 orcs. Only lost like what, 1 or 2. like out of all that, like crushed 100,000. Like just a field of blood and green. Dude, it's crazy.
Warhammer, who dies from old age though? Has anybody actually like died from old age? Because it seems like in Warhammer,
as in not in combat.
Yeah.
Oh well, well, probably
like
not because it's boring.
In Warhammer,
yeah, Warhammer's like Warhammer. You want war? You ain't gonna die from old age.
Died. A planet got virus bombed, and then Demon Prince came in and ate your fucking head or something.
I mean, Warhammer is so freaking bad. Like, I ain't trying to cuss because of YouTube, but freaking it's so awesome. Like, people fight, go down with planets, man. They come in, slap hundreds of thousands of orcs. I mean, it's just like, who would want like someone to die in Warhammer of old age? That's a boring way to go out, man. You're gonna die by getting like your head chopped off or shot or something.
Normally, yeah, because that's exciting. Like I can't imagine having like a major character just like keel over one day from a heart attack, unless it has a really good like irony to it.
That'd be boring,
you know. But overall, yeah, it's very much, it's more fun when they go out in a blaze of glory. I mean,
sure.
You know the tagline of 40K, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. So it works out that way.
Facts.
Yeah, sure.
But the custodians, being immortal, like they are mentally obedient to the core. Like they will stand at the Imperial Palace with the Emperor, completely stationary, completely still for decades. They will not move, and they will simply stand their watch there for actual decades, watching over an area, and the slightest fly that flies past them without a moment's hesitation, they could strike it down with like immediate efficiency. They're like stalwart guardians. And it's weird because it's not just their reflexes, but like their mind is a dictionary. It's an encyclopedia with knowledge of all kinds of warfare and every possible way to kill something and how to counter it. They know everything you would know about how to fight the Eldar, about how to fight the orcs or the Tyranids. They know it all, and they can. It's like having, what's the Mortal Kombat movie? It's like, Sonya, I studied all your moves. It's like that shit. Yeah, it's Kano. It's like Kano. And the old Mortal Kombat movie.
Dude's so full of crap.
Used to repeat that all the time. We were like, I studied all your moves.
But Kano was a bitch.
Yeah, but he did study all her moves.
Yeah. He did. He studied all her moves. It didn't help him. But man, could he eat a turkey leg? Right?
yes, he could. I like how unapologetically Australian Kano is. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the new character in Apex.
Fuse.
Fusey. But what was kind of cool about the Custodians, even more so, is that
Fuse, I'm not getting into that.
They're extremely, it's hard to explain. You know how a lot of Space Marines and stuff, they're very like cold, calculated people. They don't feel like emotion as much. They keep things very steady to the core of figuring out like their mission. Mm-hmm. Custodians are intelligent. They're like philosophers. They're political advisors for the Emperor. They're his generals. Like the Emperor will go to they're his confidants. The Emperor will physically...
Personal complaint managers.
Can't do it so much anymore.
They will actually go to his custodians and he'll be like, I need help. I need some assistance. Like, this idea, what do you think of this idea? Is this a good battle plan? What are we thinking about this idea? Like, they'll discuss the ideas of philosophy and advise him on how to deal with sensitive situations. They're like, custodians are artists. Some of them are poets. They're like...
That strikes me as so weird, thinking of a custodian. This giant custodian clad in all this crazy gold armor writing poetry. Like, that just seems so wild to me. Like, out of all the craziness in Warhammer,
and they're smart, bro.
Poetry seems like just the wonkiest shit.
Well, it's because like they're intellectuals without the fedora. They're legitimate intellectuals.
They're legit.
Okay.
They're very, very intelligent. They're artists. They don't necessarily have hobbies, so to speak, but you know,
Blood
like
games,
they can.
basically
That's
would
kind
be
of
one.
the point. It's not like all right, good boys, watch ended. I'm gonna go paint a painting.
I think that's where they killed
It's more the
100,000
idea that
orcs.
they're able to do that kind of stuff, and it wasn't. each custodian is an individual. That's the cool part, is that in the faceless group of the Ultramarines, of blue, and they all have the same armor and everything, every custodian is an individual person. Their names are all different, which obviously sounds weird, but like a custodian's name gets longer for every battle they've fought and won. So really powerful custodians have names that are like a full novel long, and they remember the whole thing.
Wow.
But of course they'll shorten it.
Long names, yeah.
But they'll shorten it. Like a major custodian right now is the Captain General, which is like the main guy, and his name is Trajan Valoris. And he probably has way more than that. Oh but they cut it down a little.
That's karma on me for making fun of the Custodes. Trajan Valoris, I think.
Hey, every time you address him, you can't spend an hour just saying, "Hello, Captain Trajan."
Yeah, just forever.
Yeah.
There's a great comic.
Trajan
There's a great
Valoris,
comic of a custodian. I believe. It's like, all right, please write your full name here, and he just starts sweating. But the custodians, they've stood watch on Terra at the Golden Palace forever. They have like a solemn watch in which they are unflinching,
loyal servants,
stalwart bodyguards, right? They don't have any real warships. They have very few warships because their primary goal is the protection of the Emperor, but they can edict any vessel they need. If they can commandeer whatever the hell they want because they're fucking custodians.
Yeah.
However, a lot of them now they carry like pretty great shame due to the Horus heresy.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like ingrained in their bodies. Like you had one job, make sure Big Emps didn't die, right? And you fucked it. So they carry this like huge shame in their chest right there.
But he's not
now because
dead,
of this pre-heresy, like seeing a custodian was equivalent to maybe seeing the president at the inauguration or something. Like it's pretty goddamn rare, and if you did see it, you'd be like, oh my god, so wow, I can't believe it, right? Or shaking hands with the president or whatever. Post heresy, it's like nigh unthinkable. A normal citizen of the Imperium, like it's nigh unthinkable to ever see one of these like it's called a brotherhood of demigods. Like they literally, the idea of seeing one of these people will like make your life. It's a huge deal to actually even visualize a custodian.
Oh yeah.
However, I guess because the custodians probably aren't going out and about much.
No, they're staying in the palace.
Be with the Emperor, and he's not going anywhere.
Well, speaking of that, that's what it was like. However, as of recently, if you remember, this planet named Cadia got absolutely bodied.
Oh shit!
And right after that happened, they resurrected with they resurrected Guilliman, and so Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, is back alive now, right? I think we've discussed that once or twice.
Hooray, I guess, Ultramarines.
He's okay. Gilliman's all right. If you have to appreciate anything about the Ultramarines, you can appreciate Guilliman. Okay. He's actually kind of Chad. But everyone has their favorite Primarch. Most of the time it isn't Guilliman, but Guilliman is like 5th edition D&D, man. Like everyone has their favorite edition, but if everyone's like, well, what about 5th edition? It's like, oh yeah, 5th edition is great. Not my favorite, but I play 5e. 5e's wonderful.
It's fine. It's all right.
So after that happened, when the Fall of Cadia died, that big like zipper, the Eye of Terror, the zipper into the fucking warp space, that just like cracked and zapped and just absolutely like opened a huge rift across the world, and then everything went to shit, right? Because this is actually rather recent in the Warhammer timeline, but the Imperium was on the back foot. Like they were hanging by a thread because all this warp space just snap, crackle, popped into everything. Chaos is everywhere, and because of that, the actual Terra itself was under huge warp storms and warp fire, and all of this fuckery was happening on Terra itself. And so the custodians were tasked with putting down like doomsday cults and gigantic riots, and people just driven mad. Custodian wardens, which are these fancy custodians that protect like terrifying secrets in the vaults of Terra, they were spending their whole time stopping the horrifying monstrosities inside of it from getting out. And then a gigantic Khorne demon like barrage eventually arrived. They tore into real space with like 8 bloodthirsters, which were like the big fucking dudes with the big axes.
Oh my god.
Just like
All right, we're going to stop here, and then in the next video, we will continue. But so far, man, and I love Bricky, like I said, awesome dude. And Adeptus Ridiculus here seems funny too. You call him the Custodes. Man, I freaking called Trojan. I mean, we all mess up from time to time, but learned some stuff here, man. Man, I'm surprised to see where all this goes with Gilliman coming back. Super awesome video, man. Can't wait to continue it here soon. Like I said, part 2 will come. There's another video I gotta do a part 2 as well. Man, some of these videos are just an hour long and it takes some time to do them, so it's easier for me to do them in 2 parts. So I appreciate your patience. More Warhammer is coming. Like I said, keep being awesome, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much, because we, like I said, once again, hit YouTube partner. And like I said, always support the original content and stay awesome. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.